Okay, this is day 91, and this is the wrap up. A lot of times you make mistakes, and this was one of them. I made a mistake on the Littoral Combat Ship, the LCS. But the interesting thing is about this process that we take here is I only am in the wrong for about 12 hours. And we self-correct. It's much like that Stinger missile, self-correcting. If I get started on the wrong foot, it self-corrects in one day. So here are the littoral combat ships, and there's two classes here. The Freedom and the Independence, different sizes. Lockheed makes one, and Austal makes the other one. So the one thing that I've learned is the tremendous amount of troubles they've had with this ship, this gas turbine engine, especially in both sets of ships, the bigger one and the smaller one. So that's the nice takeaway is mistakes lead to more learning. It's not like the PP dossier where I met a journalist last night I sat next to with Task Force who was from U.S. News and World Report. And she basically said, we went through the memo and we went through the PP dossier in the 35 pages. And what she said to me was, well, a lot of people can take whatever they want from pieces and parts and make it look really bad, be really conspiratorial. And I said to her, this has been out over a year. The PP dossier has been out over 1 year. And it's been, the 35 pages have been public. Oh, really? I didn't know that. The 35 pages are public. You are a reporter for U.S. News and World Report here in Washington, D.C. You did not know that for over a year the PP dossier has been out in all 35 pages? Oh, no, well, I can't know everything. You have an encyclopedic knowledge. No, actually I don't. I just actually read the paper, and this is the central thesis to you taking down the president and launching an investigation on all of the family and all of the transition teams and the illegal wiretaps. Well, I think, you're really going overboard there. I said, no. If you look at it, there's nothing in the dossier. Do you believe the story about the two prostitutes that peed? Well, no, that's just a salacious piece. There's still a lot of that. That's true. I said, no. I know about the 4 meetings and how they were all set up by Christopher Steele. And I know the meeting of Michael Cohen, and he's supposed to be in Czechoslovakia, paying programmers. And he produced his passport. He's never been there, and he's got pictures of him being in Los Angeles while he's supposedly in Czechoslovakia. Just think of all the data that FBI would have about his flight ticket, his entry into the country, pictures, cameras, his cell phone, his meetings, if they were following pictures, if he was meeting known operatives. How could you possibly get that wrong in a dossier? Well, there's something in there that's true. I said, no, if you go through it, the only thing that's been proven is a person they entrapped and enticed to go to Moscow, Carter Page going to Moscow. She said, well, even if 5%, and this is a direct quote, U.S. World News and World Report, even if 5% is correct, and that gave the FBI the reason to investigate Donald Trump, then it's fine with me, because there's going to be something wrong with Donald Trump. So I said, well, what if that was your mother? How would you feel? Well, that's different. Donald Trump's a billionaire. He's the president of the United States. I'm saying, well, even more so. You're talking about a change in the elected government of the people after a year of election, right? No, well, he's dirty, etc. It just amazed me how much better this approach is than that approach, which is basically, I call it the mushroom farm. These press kids are fed, little treats every time they write a positive story that the DoD likes. Versus, I met somebody who worked for the Navy Times. This article was written by the Navy Times, Army Times, and the different DoD publications, and I'm learning those publications. And it's not something that I really, go into very much. But I've learned that these decisions here were made by the Chief of Naval Operations. The key person in the weapons procurement program was the Chief of Naval Operations. I didn't know that before I made the mistake. And I didn't know one was made by Lockheed and the other one's made by Austal, and they were designed around these racing hulls and so forth, and it was speed, and all these things. So much learning occurs when you do make a mistake and then admit it the next day, or even in the same day, as I'm doing now. So even in my most egregious error, within 12 hours, everyone, the whole entire group, is smarter for it. So that's, I just wanted to say that. I wanted to tell that story because that was the biggest takeaway. I was kind of backing off on the lawsuit a little bit and saying, it was kind of nice of Schiff to kind of be in a diminutive mood and a little bit of humility. Yesterday it was nice of Kamala Harris to listen intently to task force about the four norteños. It seemed like a reprisal beating after my parallel construction and after she had given that information to Kamala Harris. But no, I think now more than ever, this groupthink and this mushroom farm of these press kids has to be. It's more important than even the memo, or even more important than what happened with the FBI and so forth, is if that fourth estate is so polluted and so almost jingoistic to write any yellow journalism that the DOD wants, that is the greatest threat to democracy, in my opinion.